In this video, we're going to take a deeper look at the 4x20 Lookfors multi-domain walkthrough tool. Now, I'm assuming that you've already taken a look at the multi-domain walkthrough tool general overview video, which can be also found on the support pages at iwalkobservation.com. That video helps understand that the multi-domain walkthrough tools are based off of rubrics, and those rubrics, of course, are based off of categories or domains, subdomains, and elements. Now, before we dive into the customization of the 4x20 Lookfor tool, let us first take a look at what it does. To do that, I have already taken my version of iWalk Observation, and I've inputted all of the information or the text from my school district's observational rubric. When we click over to 4x20, what we have is the opportunity to input up to 4 domains. And each one of those domains can have up to 20 elements. The 4x20 Lookfor tool allows you to walk into a classroom and to check off the elements that you see are present. What 4x20 doesn't do is it doesn't provide the teacher with specific feedback on the evaluative or rating scale of that element. Rather simply says this element was present and that element had evidence in your instruction. It does have one comment box, and in the comment box I can of course take notes and provide feedback. I can also use the timestamp to give the teacher feedback on the exact time that I'm taking the notes. Now, going back to a domain, let's say planning and prep and curriculum, I would tick off areas that I have evidence or that I see within the classroom during my walkthrough. Knowledge of students' special needs. Learning activities were present. Value and sequence and alignment was present. Knowledge of prerequisite relationships was evident in the instruction that I saw. I may choose to focus in on just one domain, or perhaps 2 or all 3. Expectations and management of transitions. When I send this to the classroom teacher, I can take a look at what that will look like in the preview button. Like all iWalk Observation walkthroughs, I will have the email introduction, the to and from area, and then my notes. In this case, I'm going to have the domain and those elements that were ticked, the second domain and those elements that were ticked. Then, of course, my comments. 420 Lookfor also has a stagnant text area. In this case, I'm using that for a quote. Now, when I send the 4x20 Lookfor, it's also going to allow me to have the option of sending a PDF. And that PDF file will contain all the elements, those that are checked and those that aren't. Notice that in my email, only the elements that are checked will be sent. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Here's the email that's going to be sent. And if we double click on the PDF file, we're going to see that here's the PDF that would be sent along with it. What we're going to notice is that this PDF has the walkthrough Lookfors, the title, the observational information, and all of the data or the elements listed for each domain. Those elements that were ticked are ticked. Now let's take a look at how to customize this tool. When you first load up iWalk Observation, and if you click on any one of the 3 multi-domain tools, in this case 4x20 Lookfor, you're going to get this box that tells you that you're going to need to sit down and customize this tool in order to use it. So for this purpose, I assume that you have a district or a school rubric, teacher evaluation rubric that you'll be using. Perhaps you're using one from Charlotte Danielson or Kim Marshall, or perhaps it's one that you have adapted from those bodies of work or that you've created completely on your own. From this dialog box, I can go ahead and click Info, which is actually going to direct you to the support pages on iwalkobservation.com. press config, which will send me directly off to the configuration page for 420, and will therefore allow me to configure and customize this walkthrough. Or click OK to just return back to the main menu. We're going to click Configure. The first page of the 4x20 configuration page, we're going to see some similar or familiar fields that we're familiar with on other iWalk observation tools. Of course, we have the email introduction. Below that, we have the title of the walkthrough. And in this case, I've already put that in as 4x20 walkthrough Lookfors. And then we have our 4 labels, or our 4 domain categories. Finally, below that is that static message. And I've put in that quote for you, but you can change this to be whatever you would like. Now for our domains, we're going to have our rubric. And from that rubric, we're going to go ahead and put in the 4 domains that we would like to include in the 4x20. Let's call this first one planning. And let's call the second one student engagement. You'll notice that when I come out of each field, that domain button is now appears. And in order to configure each of the domains, I can click right into the domain, and I'm now presented with my 20 Lookfors. Each one of these boxes can contain one of my Lookfors. So I'm going to call that one Lookfor 1 and Lookfors 2. Same thing would happen with student engagement. I can go ahead and put in up to 20 Lookfors. And if you had filled in the other 2 domain titles, you would be able to put them in here and here. Now if I go ahead and go back to iWalk main menu and click 4x20 Lookfors, I would step into a classroom, select my teacher. That of course will propagate the email. And I now have my custom rubric inputted into the 4x20 Lookfor tool. If you have any questions or if you need further support, please do not hesitate to email me at kevinc@iwalkobservation.com.